asked me if I'd cover for him, and I said most definitely. So want to open it up. Any wins? Anything? Anybody got anything they want to bring out to the table? You can unmute yourself and come on in. Nobody's got anything? Come on, folks. It's Thursday.
Quiet crowd tonight, Brian. I don't see anything in the chat yet either, so.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. So we'll just keep going. I wanted to check a little bit on the plan on the page. I don't know if you guys have had some of the issues I have, where I've actually sat down with some of my people and gone over the plan on the page with them, and they're using them for coasters. They're not getting them filled out. They're not getting the three-way calls set up. Are there any questions on, as far as not getting them to the three-way, or if you're having a hard time actually getting them filled out? Do you have any questions on that? And I know we've covered it, but we can cover it again if anybody's got any questions on it. No questions. Okay. Well, let's go with how many new people have y'all gotten a hold of this week coming out of that comfort zone? Are you finding it easier to, send those texts out or pick up those phones and make some calls to some new people, or reaching out to classmates or ex-coworkers or things like that?
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
You do some online stuff, don't you?
I do a little bit.
I wonder, I got a little 2-paragraph thing that I've been carpet bombing LinkedIn with. I'm reaching out to about 40 people a day for a week. And wonder if I sent that to you, if you'd take a look at it and see if you'd change anything. I'm getting a few responses, but it's not what I want.
Well, the first thing we want to look at is carpet bombing, yes, is an approach, but it's usually a very low ratio return. Yeah, you're more than welcome to send it to me. You can send it to me via text. My telephone number is 281-814-1590. And if you're getting some, what's that?
Can I maybe send it on Messenger?
You sure can.
Okay.
You sure can. I'll read it, but what you got to do is look at how, if you were looking at it from an outside point and reading it yourself, is the reach out focused on you trying to share something with them, or are you fishing for information from them to try to help make it steer more towards them? That would be my only question.
I guess what I've been doing with it mostly is it's primarily something I'm combining with a hello greeting.
Okay.
To people I'm just meeting or haven't communicated with before. You'll have to look at it and see what you think. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing all right because I am getting some responses.
If you're getting some responses and if you're getting some communication back and forth with them, that's a start. At least you're kicking the sand to the side and getting them to communicate with you.
I'd like
that's one of the biggest battles.
I'd like if they were, larger in numbers and closer to warm. But you got
to remember, these people get approached on a daily basis for everything.
Oh, and LinkedIn is brutal.
Exactly.
Most of the people, if they message you first, they got a link in there. you know, and I'm not doing anything like that.
Well, that's probably definitely a better way to go about it, because I mean, these guys that's total bombardment every day, every day, every day. That's why we tell them, people, don't do that on Facebook, because that's what, 99.99% of the other people are doing. I mean, they're Hail Marying it. They're throwing these long bombs everywhere and just hoping that someone will actually answer them back.
Facebook is brutal.
Exactly.
That's why I'm on LinkedIn. At least on LinkedIn, they're kind of at least business oriented.
Right. Right.
Facebook, everybody that you talk to is trying to sell you something.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a trolling area as well. There's a lot of business people on LinkedIn, so I'm going to get on LinkedIn and, try to sell my widgets. But it's no matter what you're doing, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, any number of other things, first and foremost, we got to make sure that we're approaching these people with their best interest in mind. There's a lot of people that have that it's very difficult for them to understand that they've got to remove themselves from the equation. Because if you don't, I mean, I give the example of, it's like, okay, when we're young, hormones start kicking in and we're looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and, we're just, got to have one, got to find one. And we're going out and we're looking and looking and looking and looking, and nobody wants to go out with you. All of a sudden you quit looking and one comes by, and then now you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and now they're standing in a line that they want to come after you. And everybody on here knows that I'm correct. The harder you chase after something, the less likely you are to receive it. And money is no different. The people that are focused on money, usually very rarely ever get it. It's because they don't understand the concept of money. I mean, I saw a video today that Rob put on my mentoring page. I've got a page called Who Are You? And we put a lot of good stuff on there. And it was Grant Cardone saying, and I touched a little bit on this last week on my live about, oh man, if I just had $1 million, I wouldn't have anything else to worry about. Well, if the mindset is not there to handle the $1 million, trust me, they're going to be broke in a very short period of time. And he actually went through that scenario and showed them that they would pretty much be broke by the time they were 50. Mm-hmm. So if I know it's hard.
Our Powerball winners have more problems than financial problems than blue-collar people.
That's exactly right, because the reason they don't have money to begin with is because they don't know how to handle it. They don't understand that it's a flow. You can do good things with it or you can do bad things with it. And the ones that are not used to having the money, once they get it, it's kind of like getting a big bag of popcorn, man. It's just like they just start eating, and the next thing you know, the popcorn bag is empty and all I got left is some seeds at the bottom and some hulls. It's because the mind is not set up to handle that kind of volume of money. But when you remove the money from the equation, and I know it's difficult when people are struggling and trying to, get to where they want to go financially, I've just learned it through a lot of hard knocks. The harder you chase the money, the more and the faster it runs away from you. So just, like what we were talking about, what can you do for them? If you can get that wrap your head around how important that is. I mean, when I started my companies, yes, I was after money and I was looking to fish professionally. But my focal point is what is the best product that I can give to my clients so they'll always come back? That was my focal point. It wasn't the money. It was what can I do for my customers? And the products that I saw that they were getting were very subpar, very nasty looking, dirty edges, just was not what they should have been getting. So I come in, new kid on the block, I'm 20 years old, and all of a sudden they're second guessing, why is this guy, bringing me this product? I mean, he's young, he probably doesn't know what's going on, but I gave them what they asked for, and they just kept buying and buying and buying, and I kept getting more clients. So I didn't chase the money. I chased what I could do for my customers, which in turn paid me lots of money. So anybody else have anything on that subject?
I was just going to say the reason I actually am very careful with money is because I had a friend that inherited like $800,000 when he turned 18 and it was
Yep.
gone in 6 months.
Yep.
I begged him to invest it. I begged him. And he bought 2 new cars, 2 new jet skis, a stack of Marshall amps, a guitar set, a drum kit, redid his house, but forgot to pay it off, therefore lost the house. I mean, it was really tragic. So that was a lesson I learned from somebody else, thank God.
Yep. Money is it's a two-headed demon. I mean, we got to have it to survive, but it also can lead to our demise if we don't handle it correctly. You know, and people always say, oh man, you know, if I just had more money. No, that's not going to solve the problem. Because take that for example, I also know 2 people, unfortunately, their mother was killed in a car crash, and they were very young, and each one of them got about $350,000 to $400,000 that was set up into a trust, and they couldn't get it till they were 18. Well, one of them turned 18, got the money, and lo and behold, the relatives pretty much drained her dry. She had nothing left. And then after the younger one inherited her money, the same people did the same thing. They're all broke and they have absolutely nothing to show for that. So it goes right back to what our regional was about, folks. It's all about mindset. You've got to fix it. You've got to expand that in order to handle the amounts of money that you're going to be making. You found the vehicle. You found the vehicle that can answer all of the things that you want answered, whether it's cars, whether it's charity, whether it's to give to your church, do mission trips, whatever is real to you. You have got the vehicle right here to be able to get you there. But you're going to have to be able to juggle stuff. The more money you make, you're going to have to know about taxes, the write-offs, getting a CPA to help you manage the money. Because if not, you can make a bunch of money, but you're going to turn around and it's going to be gone. So the money comes with what we feed our mind as well, because your mind has to be in a place to adapt and be to understand how the money flows and how it works, so you can actually hang on to it. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep in your bank account. So I appreciate that, Sherry. Anybody else got anything on that subject? Or anybody have a subject they want to touch on? Come on, we got 15 people on here. We got to have something out there. Come on, tell us about a win. Got a new customer, got a new distributor.
I can talk. I've got a win.
Well, we want to hear about that win.
I think it was last week or the week before. I had a customer that purchased. He is battling cancer, and they told him, I think 6 months ago, that he had 7 months to live. And he's at C. Anderson right now in Houston, which we're in Amarillo, but he's been taking the triangle, and he's been his wife has tripled the sunrise and doubled the sunset. And she just got some really amazing results back today, and everything's like shrinking. All of his numbers are doing good, and so that was a big win for me.
Isn't that amazing? Simply
really cool.
Sharing a product changed 2 people, well, not just 2 people's lives.
Lots
but
of people.
Family members, brothers, cousins, sisters. I mean, I have a hard time trying to figure out why people are so reserved by talking to people about this business. You know, you just take the business out of it and you show people what we have. I mean, that right there, you can't put a dollar amount on that win that you just gave us.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, that simple reach out is going to affect, I don't know, 50, 100 people directly and indirectly that know them. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. There's no money. Go ahead.
Sorry, she's already been telling other people too about the products. So it kind of just snowballed in a good way.
Exactly. That's what the butterfly effect is. I mean, what we have is so powerful and so, I would say, lucrative also. You know, but people can't do business with someone if they don't know they're in business. You know, when you have a product that has a track record, the length of this one, and not just one or two things, we're talking about a long list of ailments that the body that we have seen the improvements on, just from a simple 3-product process. It is very simple, but if you think about it, our bodies are one of the finest machines that was ever built. And, you know, if you put the wrong fuel in a tractor, it's not going to run. Our bodies are no different. I mean, what we have is kind of miraculous, because we're just giving the body exactly what it wants and needs for it to function properly. When the good Lord made it, he made a fine machine. There's no doubt about it. It's just hard to maintain with the current conditions that we have with the food that we have, you know, available to us. So that is huge. I love hearing those kind of stories. Congrats. There will be more of those. Very well done. Cool deal. Anybody else got a story? Come on, there's got to be somebody here. Unmute yourself and hop on.
I know we had a gentleman that was actually almost damn near blind, pretty much, and he's been taking Kayani for, I would say, probably about 3 months now. And he told Robert the other day that he's starting to see a whole lot clearer, where he might not need to have his glasses anymore. So, I mean, that right there alone, just with eyesight, is huge.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. I don't know. I'm guessing it would probably be a blood flow thing or something like that. But yeah, that's amazing right there. To give somebody back their eyesight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no amount of money that can cover that.
No.
Not at all. Thanks, man. Another excellent testimonial. That's what it's about, folks. We help other people. That's the business that we're in. We're not in business to go out and make a whole bunch of money. That's an after fact. That will come just by simply opening up and letting people know what we have to offer. Miss Sherry.
Well, my mom has sent me a number of texts this week, and one of them says, my customer Ann with the heart issues now doesn't have anxiety anymore. She had it really, really bad for a long time. Go Kayani. She takes nitro if she feels it coming on, and it just goes away. And also, my mom had cancer about 10 years ago. And when she was in the surgery, it was in her neck, and they put her under to take her out. And they thought that she was coming back around. They asked her how she was doing, and she smiled kind of. And so they thought that she was awake, and they took the breathing tube out, and she wasn't breathing. And we're not really actually sure how long it was before they caught that she wasn't breathing and re-intubated her. But we know that she had some damage from the oxygen deprivation, in her short-term memory has just been crap, really, for 10 years. She noticed a huge difference, and we could tell. And she said, I opened up a savings account and memorized the 10 numbers before the paperwork was even done. Go Kayani, because that would not have been something that she could have done. She got her blood work back. I did good. The cholesterol was 53. First time her triglycerides were actually in range. First time ever. Total cholesterol was 224, should be below 200, but that's the best ever too. And her eosinophils are at 0, and her doctor's not even understanding how that's happening. 335 is the norm, but she means it says no allergies and no infections. Her A1C was at 5.8, and 5.7 is good, but she had a steroid shot the week before that, so it should have shot way up, and it didn't. So anyways, she's said, I'll be on this for the rest of my life, no matter what, no matter if I ever get anywhere in Kiani. So I know I feel the same way. So, yeah.
Yep. It's just a matter of sharing a simple thing, asking someone how they are, finding out a little bit of information. Oh man, I can't sleep. Really? How long's that been going on? Oh, a long time. Well, you interested in a way of fixing that? Yeah, what do you got? Okay, I got a guy. I mean, I couldn't hear you.
I was going to say, I got a website. Okay. Wellness Simplified.
Yep. I got a guy, or I got Wellness Simplified. That's the key. And it's very simple. I was actually talking with one of my distributors earlier today, and so many people like to just text. It's a very impersonal way to do business. And until you break through that and you really start the communication ability, I can talk to anybody. I can talk to a guy sitting on a street corner, or I can talk to a CEO, and anybody in between. Is it a gift? No, I hated doing it, but I had to make myself be able to do that. Because when we're, bombarding people with texts and we don't get returns, it's like, what do they want? It's easy to turn someone down on a text. But when you call somebody just out of the blue to see how they are on a person-to-person phone call, that's a bit different. You've got everybody's on the same page. There's not any real deflection or, trying to figure out how to get off the call. On a simple text, it's like, they can delete it or go to the next text. So if you're trying to build a business with texting and it hasn't been working, try the communication, try something different. Remember, you got plan, do, review. You want to set your plan. You're going to do what you think you need to do in order to get a result. And if it doesn't work, you're going to have to review it. And the reviewing part is the most important part of the 3 steps. Because you've got people that go out and they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, whether they're bombarding people with information or, oh, you've got to see what I'm doing now. It's all about them. It's that thing that they just keep going. And then they wonder why their business won't grow. I've got distributors that have been in for, almost as long as I have, and have yet to put in a distributor. Or put in 1 customer or 2 customers, but they're unwilling. Right back to mindset, what we've been, banging on here for the last couple of weeks. They're unwilling to change the mindset or change the way they're doing things in order to get a different result. Definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result. You've got to do the plan, do, and review. If it's not working, we got to try something else. Yes, sir, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to say with online, mostly cold market and usually a geographical barrier, my first goal is to drag them onto a Zoom.
Yeah.
And actually look at each other and talk.
Zoom is a great deal. I've got my own account. Casey set it up for me. It's real nice. You send them your information and you can sit down and have a face-to-face conversation with someone halfway around the world.
Yeah,
it's a real nice way to get in communication with somebody.
Even if you don't get anywhere with the business, you leave the call with a friend.
Exactly.
And possibly you can help each other in business some way.
Exactly. It's not always, building a relationship you know, if it's for this business, fine. If it's not for this business, fine. I mean, our entire worlds revolve around relationships and communication. I mean, I've had about 25 or 30 people tell me that I need to write a book. I don't have a clue on how to write a book, but making friends with some people here recently, I ran across somebody that is interested and actually would be willing to guide me a little bit in writing a book. You know, so it boils down to your relationships with people. You know, the more relationships and the more people that we are in communication with, the easier our lives get. I mean, Casey, you've really got to look at what Casey has done. I don't know how many conventional business owners there are in here. To build one is like pulling teeth. With brick and mortar permits, taxes, sign permits, dumpster permits. I mean, you name it. Income tax, I mean, not income tax, but employee tax, matching the tax, all of that stuff. Electricity, gas, water. I mean, to run a normal business is a nightmare. Trust me, I've built a few of them and I've helped other people build them. So what Casey has done for not just the people that's in this chat right now, but for all the people that are in the Houston area, he took something that was very, very complicated. When we got started, I mean, we were running PBRs. We ran 2 PBRs a day there for a while, and we ran 45, 50, 60 days nonstop to build our organization. But what we found is that's not duplicatable. One person out of 100 can get in front of a room and do that. So if you got to sponsor 500 people to have 5 smokers to go out and get in front of a room day after day after day, it's very hard to do. So Casey, as he looked at this, he kept moving and refining. What about this? What about this? We tried this, that didn't work. So we tried this. Oh, there we go. We got a little bit of traction, got some movement. But Casey, being the man that he is, with his ability to simplify things, create a system, it's what the guy makes his money doing. But what he did was he took something that was very difficult for most people to duplicate. And he made it so easy for everybody. All you got to do is step in the shoes. Casey was the one out front getting hit with the sticks and the stones and taking the curves in the road and the washed out bridges and the ditches and the trees across the road. And he manhandled every one of the hurdles that came to him. He fixed it. And not only did he fix it for himself, he fixed it for us, which is a rarity. Most people in these types of businesses usually throw the towel in because of the lack of duplication. Because usually it's like, hey, you know, welcome aboard. Let me know how it works. And that's what a lot of people have that bad taste in their mouth is all about. I mean, they're going over here, hey, I'm in business, but I'm not a business person. And you guys left me out to dry here. And I'm struggling and can't get any help. We don't have that. Most everybody out there wants what we have. But what we have took many, many conversations up late at night, conversation after conversation, taking turns, pulling out the whiteboard, one thing after another, until he got to the point where he said, okay, this is it. So anybody can take a plan on a page, write the why down. You got to search hard. And I tell you what, I think that's the hardest box for everybody to actually fill out, is that why, which is what keeps them to the point where they're not progressing. Well, I want to make a bunch of money. Okay, well, a bunch of money is a good idea and great thing, but it's like, what is the money going to do? And with the plan on the page, doing that, you pull some levers, you know, you turn the dial a little bit, and you ask a question. Hey, seems to me you've got a problem. Would you like to fix that? Yeah, I got a guy. You want to talk to him? I'll set it up. Nah, I'm good. Okay, check mark. Who's next? It doesn't get any easier than that, folks. Does not get any easier than that. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? Unmute yourself. Hop on here.
We got a testimony for you.
Okay.
I've got a client that got a really high PSA when he did his blood work. And so they did an MRI looking for where they were going to do the biopsy because the doctor was so sure that he was going to have cancer. And when he got the results of the MRI, there was absolutely nothing there. So all he could say was, come back in 6 months, we'll do another PSA. That's all attributed to Kyani.
There you go. There you go. I mean, that's what it's all about right there, folks. Reaching out with a simple, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? How's the family? Start the conversation, build the rapport. Trust me, they will tell you the problem that they're having. And all we have to do is get good at listening to what they're saying, not waiting for them to stop talking so we can start talking. I mean, we say it and say it and say it. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in proportion. These are the money tickets right here. If you get good at using those, you can make as much money as you want. Because you got to find out what's needed and wanted. Whether you're in the concrete business, real estate, car business, it doesn't make any difference. You got to find out what that person desires. And then all you do is help them get it. And if you continue to do that and you take you out of the equation, you can make more money than you can spend. I promise you. Because that's what this is all about. It's about everybody else. Great testimonial, John. I love it. That's why we do what we do. That's for sure. Anybody else got a testimonial out there? Come on, we got 17 of you on here now.
Hi, Brian. This is,
Okay.
okay. My problem is, I talked to a friend of mine. She has knee problems, which is RA, rheumatitis. And I tried talking to her, and I told her my story because I have the same thing, arthritis on both of my knees. And I told her how I felt. My knees were so swollen, inflammation and all that. And I said, I've been taking it for about 2 years now. And I told her blah, 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 what I felt. And that didn't seem like it would matter to her. But I also found out that her husband has cancer. He was going to the hospital or this week sometime and see when he was going to start chemo. And I said, well, how about your husband? No, we're going to see what the doctor said. No matter what I said, it's what the doctor says, what the doctor says. And I told her, I said, well, a lot of times, doctors don't know everything either, and you at least got to try. And I said, let me go ahead and send you I know a guy, but I couldn't do it on her phone because she's not involved in any kind of a Facebook or any of that. She doesn't. She says, I don't understand it. I don't deal with it. But I sent
Do
it
you
to her.
have the document for the doctor? Do you have that document that you can actually print out?
Do
The
I?
one that that's a printout. I don't know if Sherry, if you've
Oh,
got
yes,
it.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, if you can print that out and say, here, give this to your doctor and see what they say.
Yeah, well, I suggested, I said, let me come by and leave you a sample and give you the letter, but I can't seem to get her off. And no, we'll go back. We're going to see what the doctor said. We're going to wait until the doctor said. I couldn't get her off of the, So,
There's a lot of them that are like that.
mhm.
There's a lot of them that are like that. I mean, my dad went from doctor to doctor to doctor with fighting his bladder cancer for 10 years. This doctor would put him on 4 or 5 meds, and he'd go to another doctor and he'd say, I don't know what he's got you on this. It's like, they're parts changers in some cases. And I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers here, but I mean, doctors are there to make money just like everybody else. But, when you have somebody that's going down rapidly and what they're doing is not working, and something that can be brought into play like a holistic deal, some people are just to the point where they will not listen to anybody unless they got initials behind their name.
Yeah.
And there's really, I mean, it's sad. I mean, we want to help them, but if they're unwilling to open up their mind and communicate, and it's like, hey, here, doc, this is the stuff that I'm taking. Do you see anything in there that could cause a problem? Well, no, this looks good and this looks good, but maybe not take the sunrise because it has a little bit heavier sugar levels on it and it might do this or something. But, just to throw the whole, as they say, throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, okay, they might not be able to do the whole triangle, but there might be something within the triangle that they could utilize, and any part of the triangle by itself is good. Of course, synergistically, it works better when it's all combined, when you use it together. But the value of each individual product, it's off the charts. It really is. So, that's just one of them things you just kind of go back and drip on them and, ask them how they're doing, or, I mean, do you see her very often?
No, it's a friend of my niece. I have a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, but they see each other more often than I do.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Well,
I'll keep in touch with them.
Yep, I've got a lot of people that have had major issues, and I tell them, say, hey, you need to take a look at oh no, can't do that. Hey, okay, hope everything works out for you, because once their mindset is like that, there's really not much you can do with it.
Okay.
So you just kind of move on to the next one. I mean, we got a lot of people out there that we can touch.
Okay.
I don't waste a lot of time on someone if they don't want help, or they don't want to make any extra money. I say, hey, no problem. Who's next? That's why that POAP needs to be done. 20 partners, 3 yeses, not a bad deal.
Okay.
And you do 20 more, 3 yeses.
Oh, no.
I mean, and that's the key, and that's why Casey has laid it out that way. It's like, okay, if they don't want help, you just scratch off the list and go to the next line.
Okay.
So don't take a loss on it, because trust me, there's going to be a lot of them that's going to tell you no. I've been doing it a lot longer than most everybody in here, and I can guarantee you I got enough no's I could fill up a couple 18-wheelers full of them. But, I got an awful lot of yeses too, and that's the ones you got to worry about.
Okay, thanks.
So, cool deal. Well, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Anybody else got any questions?
My one buddy said he was going to stick with his doctor's orders. I said, I'm sure your doctor ordered you not to do anything that would give your body the right nutrition. And think about it. What doctor would tell you don't get the nutrition you need?
Right. Yep. It's pretty crazy, the stuff that we run across, but we've had, and Casey's got a good one too. It's like, so do they want you to stop eating as well? I mean, all we basically have is, fruit and vegetable nutrition, a little nitro from a noni extract, and pure fish oils. What could be possibly in there that your doctor that your body doesn't need, that your doctor wouldn't want you to take? I'm not a doctor. by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure there are probably some medications out there that will clash, somewhere along the line with maybe too much sugar, or, something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I can see that in a few things. But oh no, you don't want to do that. Doesn't make any sense to me either, Mike. Not at all. All righty, folks. We got about 17 minutes left. Anybody got any questions?
I'll share. I had a customer that she came to the PBR that when Sherry was in Kansas that she came and put on at my house. And I went into church a couple weeks ago and she was sitting at the same area as me. And she comes up to me and I mean, her face just lights up and she tells me how wonderful she feels since she started the product. And her husband is a so-called, he thinks he's a nutritionist and he knows everything. He's a truck driver. But yet he still has the big pot belly, doesn't eat nutritionally, but he thinks he knows it all. And he's like, I'm not taking this stuff. I'm good. I'm like, okay, Hal, that's great. That, if you want. And Brenda's going, I'm not going without it, which is my customer, his wife. And I think she's going to sign on in another month or so with me. I hope anyway. But she went to her cardiologist this week and her cardiologist actually cut her blood pressure medicine and one of her heart pills, cut the dosages in half in 1 month's time.
Excellent.
She's been working it. She's on some high doses of prednisone for some reason. And I know that a lot of people don't know a lot of medical about stuff, but if you've ever taken prednisone, it's a horrible drug. I took it for 7 years, solid, high doses. It just eats at your joints. So she's slowly weaning off on that. And she'll ask my husband every once in a while since he is a registered nurse and she'll be like, how much more can I go off? And so she's hoping by the time she goes back to her arthritis doctor that she's off of the prednisone so that he can't say, oh, you better keep taking it longer. Cause it's definitely, prednisone's one of those drugs that you definitely have to wean down on slowly. You cannot stop cold turkey. So, but she's pleased. She's thrilled with the product. So.
Yep. And what do you think she's going to do? She's going to be telling everybody about that.
She's got a couple daughters that's got a lot of health issues. I think one lives up in Missouri. I think her oldest daughter will try it when she signs on. I think they'll wait for their mom to sign on to try it. And then she's got another daughter that I think she just enjoys being sick. She likes all the attention from being in and out of the hospital. And people like that, you can't help no matter what. No. I have a sister-in-law that's that way. My brother really wants to sign on with me. And, my husband he's such a busy man. Like, I thought he was getting on tonight. He's gone this week at educational classes to learn how to write grants. And, we don't see him on. So apparently he is still doing homework. But he keeps telling her, look, Debbie, this will help you, my sister-in-law. And she's like, no, I'm not going to. And my brother's like, well, I'm thinking about signing on. And she's like, well, that's just a bunch of crap. And her brother lives there in Houston and is big in the medical field. He's a nurse anesthetist. And Ed's going, we ought to get your brother on this. And she goes, oh, he makes enough money. He don't need any part of that. Okay, you're lost. So some people you can't help no matter what you try.
Nope. The thinking is broken. I've got some people that I went to school with, and I see posts on Facebook. Oh my God, I'm in so much pain. I can't even get up to fix dinner. But I've approached them, I don't know how many times, saying, look, I've got a way. If you give me a chance, I can help you. I am pretty confident I can help you with the arthritis issues or your blood sugar issues. But no, they don't. They hang on to that like it's $100 bill. It gives them value. Oh yeah, they enjoy it.
Yeah. For me personally, Ed and I started this product on April the 13th. He has been migraine free since then, and he typically had a couple of months or so. He has a lot more energy, which I don't know how when he's so ADHD he could have, be so tired, but he's always wired. I mean, he's one of these from the time he hits the floor till he goes to bed. He's worrying about his residents, his employees, and what else can he do to make money? That's how Ed's been the 26 years I've been with him. But he, he's a firm believer. He researched this through PubMed. I mean, it took Sherry probably 6 to 7 months before he finally would even talk about it and look at it. But she had to provide every bit of the proof. It wasn't put me in a 3-way. It was, you got to get me the proof. And I mean, she was sending doctors videos and you name it. We listened for 4 hours going to Wichita before she finally convinced him that it really was effective. But me personally, and I think it was last Friday. I don't know how many of you watched the Science with Mark last Friday, but it was awesome. I mean, it went for over 2 hours. And we were talking about, I have real bad vascular swelling. So far in these 3 months, nothing. It has done nothing for me. It's taken my back pain away. I have more energy and I feel good. But as far as like my joint pain and stuff from, 7 years of prednisone, my joints are just crap. And so I just keep waiting. When is the vascular part going to kick in and I maybe not have so much huge swelling?
Let me ask you this. Do you have any problems with like your knuckles in your hands, or is it just elbows or what?
It's more my hips and my knees.
Here, I'm going to go out on a limb. Pick a knee and try doing the nitro on the outside. Have you tried that yet?
About that, but I haven't been that courageous yet and tried it.
Try it.
See, they're talking about, my orthopedic is talking about starting in September, wanting to do the Supartz shots if my insurance will approve them, because they're like $5,000 a shot or something, and they can put 5 of them in there. Yep. And so I've thought about maybe I need to start rubbing the nitro on here, because I mean, it's bone on bone.
Take one. I don't know if it's going to do anything or not, but I'll tell you what, I've seen some crazy stuff putting nitro on it. I mean, if I get burned or cut or at the factory, I put the nitro straight on it.
Ed is still blown away by the night when Mindy talked about her putting it on her nose and then putting the serum on there. He laughed for 30 minutes. He was in the background working and listening, and he's like, that's hysterical. I've never heard of such a thing. And so now he's like, you got to cut, you need some nitro?
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure if you're rubbing it on there and it goes in there and dilates that stuff and you're getting a little bit better blood flow and reducing some inflammation, you got it there. Try it. Just pick one knee and do it religiously. Try it maybe, once in the morning and then once in the evening. And then just kind of keep track of it and see if it alleviates any more pain in that knee than the other knee. Don't do both of them. We want to have some sort of a kind of a reference here.
Well, by far, I'd want to do my left one because it's the one that stays so hugely swollen all the time from, it just being bone on bone. And okay. I in the 80s, like the mid 80s, I rolled a car and I was ejected. And when I went out the window, my knee got cut on the cruise control and the tilt thing on my car or whatever. And, in them days, they didn't fix anything. They just sewed it up. Right. So they sewed up the knee when it was all cut up and gross and you could see bone instead of fixing it. And then you add all the prednisone on top of it for 7 years. And it didn't help that. So a little bit about me. I had the gastric bypass in 2000. The day of my surgery, I was 426 pounds. Now I average right around about 200, and it's been 18 years. So it's been very successful for me, but that's also very hard on your joints as well. So okay. I just keep taking this Kyani saying it's going to work. It's going to take longer because of the shape my body's in, but it's going to work.
Yep. And that's what I tell people. I tell people they get on it and, I took it for about a week and I didn't get nothing. Say, well, you didn't get this screwed up overnight and you're not going to fix it overnight.
Nope.
Give it 2 or 3 months. Let it go in there and actually do some repair before we make a judgment of, oh, it's not working.
And that's what Mark was saying Friday.
What's that?
that's what Mark was saying on Friday is sometimes, you know, it takes longer for your body to rejuvenate what the damage is. And
Yep. And everybody's body's different. The way we break things down, the speed of absorption, everybody's body's different. But, you know, I've had people get on this stuff and they call me and say, oh my God, I haven't felt this good in years.
mm-hmm.
And then they don't reorder, and I call them and say, you were doing so good, why didn't you reorder? Well, you know, I want to check and see if that was really it or what. So I'm going to quit taking it and see how I feel after. Hello? You've been feeling bad? You get on it for 5 to 7 days and you're feeling like a new nickel, and all of a sudden you decide that you don't want to take it anymore to run another experience or another experiment to see if that's really what was it, or was it just a coincidence, you know? So, well, yeah, I appreciate that. I love hearing those stories as well, you know? But yeah, try that FX on that knee. And, you know, rub some on the top and on the back, depending on where the most pain is, and just kind of keep track of it. I'll be really surprised if you don't get some relief from it. I'd be really surprised.
I'll try that. What do you got?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you got to lose? You got it there.
I have enough nitro to supply half of this little town I live in, since when I signed on, then my husband signed on, and then we bought for both of our children as well that are 18 and 21. Okay. Hoping, you know, we can start getting them as well. But man, I'll tell you what, and I've told Sherry this time and time again, Southwest Kansas is going to be a challenge to get people to try. It has been, I mean, they just look at us like we're totally crazy. So.
It's because the way they were taught to think. You got to figure out a way to get through that. You know,
slowly but surely, you know, a lot of them will go on Ed's medical side because they know how knowledgeable he is in it and how passionate he is in the medical field. Right. And some of them, they're just like, oh, I don't know, you know, and so we just slowly but surely, I wanted to be Sapphire by the time I got to Orlando next week. I'm not. I did make Jade my first month. I can't even hardly maintain Jade just from what we're doing out here, but we keep plugging along. It'll take time, but we'll do it.
That's it. You know, keep your eye on the prize. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, you're going to have resistance. You're going to have all kinds of stuff. And it's tough to break through it. I have some of the same issues back in my hometown. Oh, that's one of those things. Oh, no, they won't do that. They'll run to the doctor and spend thousands of dollars, but they won't do anything holistic.
Spend 120 or 25, whatever it is, to
right. You know,
I think our other downfall is for Ed and I is I wish, you know, because you guys have all these wonderful events and PBRs and this and that, and we don't have. I mean, I'm about, I think, 170 miles from Amarillo. So if I knew in Amarillo there was something, you know, you could run down for a Saturday or something. But I mean, like, the nearest team I found was Clare and Topeka, which is 450 miles from here. Okay. So there ain't much out here right now.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know. You can talk to Sherry. I mean, we have the whole I got a guy thing, but I mean, if someone wants to see something, I'm sure that, you know, Sherry could do a Zoom.
Right. And she actually gave Ed the presentation. You know, he's used to doing all sorts of stuff. If he had to, he could study that video and put one on. Or Sherry will be back to see her in-laws because, you know, Ryan's from our hometown. He and I graduated together. We can always do another one when she comes again, too. So it'll be good.
Okay. Yeah, you just keep your eye on the prize, you know, and you might meet somebody that's there and you say, well, you know, it may not be for you, but do you know anybody?
Right.
You know,
I think I have two that I think they wanted to try it for a couple of months. So I'm hoping September I can get them to sign on.
Planting seeds. That's all we do. The more seeds you plant, the better your harvest is going to be down the road. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of people in this business get in it and just go absolutely nuts with it. Ruby in 28 days or Sapphire in 16 days. And then a month later, they ain't even hitting Jade. So don't worry about running it, and trying to get across that finish line in a matter of, the quickest time. Quick does not maintain. You get in and you build a solid foundation. You get the duplication in, because that is the weak link. And what Casey has done working with Sherry and all these guys that's on here is the duplication is fill out the why. If you got to spend an hour to pull that tooth to get that why on that page, then that's what you do. You get those 20 on there, and then you start building the rapport. That is duplicatable. I mean, that's better to me, as far as I'm concerned, than a PBR. Because you're getting straight down into the nut cutting, and people are physically taking action and doing something. It's a money-making not opportunity. It's a money-making, how does Casey say it? You're in process. You're doing your due diligence, and you're physically doing what you need to do to get out. Get out there and get those names, build that rapport, find out what's needed and wanted, and help them get it. Income bringing activities. That's the words I was looking for that was eluding me. But yeah, I think that is so much better than a PBR, because people come to a PBR, they see one, it's like they get all riled up, and it's like, then they go home. They sit on it. It's like, wow, man, that was great. I mean, I can't do one of those. But everybody here can coach another person on putting the name in the box or the why in the box, pulling out the phone. Everybody can sit down with anybody and duplicate that. I'm telling you, folks, it does not get any simpler than what Casey's made it. It does not get any easier. He's taken out all of the sticks and stones and the blown up bridges and trees. You guys pretty much have a straight road. The only thing that's in your way from building your business at this point in time is you. And you've heard Casey say it before. You can't overwhelm him with three-way messages and all of that. So that's the one of the deals that people's got to really get into and make themselves fill out those sheets, build that rapport, get those communications going to find out what they want to get fixed, and ask them if they want to fix it. It's not hard. They'll either say yes or they'll say no. So, all righty, folks, it is 9:59 straight up. So, if Jake, you're on there, you can unmute the line and we can say our nights, and y'all have a good night.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Everybody else, thank you.
Yep.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Great weekend.
Yeah, you're all gonna.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Cool deal. Thank you.